Lepas tu yang Pak Hamzah tu ada nak present apa-apa ke?
Ada, aku nak present slide aku lah. Slide
Oh,
lagu tu sikit, sikit je. Seminit kan.
alright. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to everyone. My name is Naila Nafisa binti Muhammad Zarkashi, your MC for today's Leading the Way session. For your information, this session will be divided into three parts. First, the introduction to IIUM official song, Leading the Way, and the philosophy behind it. And the second part is the introduction to clubs and societies. And the third part is the quizzes session. So before we begin, I would like to extend a very warm welcome to our speakers of honor, the presidents of Students Coordination Committee, Brother Muhammad Hamzah Hakimi bin Muhammad Khair, the secretary of Students Coordination Committee, Brother Muhammad Adib Syahmi bin M. Bahari, and last but not least, the students of CFS IIUM who are joining us through YouTube Live. To begin the reading the way with blessings of Allah, I would like to call upon Brother Muhammad Darul Naim bin Abdul Muttalib, the Vice President 2 of Language Student Society, to lead the recitation of dua. Please welcome.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A'udzu billahi samil alim minasy syaithanir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalam ala habibina sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Allah, ya fa'alul lima yurid. Oh Allah, we express our gratitude to you for allowing us to attend this event on this auspicious day. Oh Allah, we ask you for the safety of our religion and the welfare of our body. O Allah, Lord of the implementing authority, make the days that we have gone through, starting with your mercy, continue with your blessing and righteous guidance, ended with your forgiveness. Make the days that we have gone through, spent in your obedience, adorn us with the adornment of the righteous and clothe us with the ornament of the peace in spreading good behavior, lowering the wing of humility, beauty of conduct, advancing towards excellence, avoiding condemnation, being gracious to the undeserving, speaking truth, talk bitter. Ya Allah, Ya Muhaymin, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, let our efforts as a means to enlighten and convince ourselves that the personal safety of either outer or inner is a prerequisite for achieving happiness and excellence in various fields. O Allah, grant us faith and strength in order to face the challenges of life during these needy yet troubling times and in the face of life in this new norm. Ya Allah, Ya Farijal Ham, Ya Kashifal Gham, Ya Man li abdihi, Ya Ghafir wa Yarham. Oh Allah, show us guidance and adjust our path and ways to achieve happiness and glory. Let us listen to people who like to good things. Let us avoid doing the bad and evil things. Oh Allah, bless our life in the gathering and prevent us from harm and unfortunate events. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وبارك وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. تقبل الله منكم.
Amin ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Brother Naim, for the dua recitation. May our event today runs smoothly and blessed by Allah. Before we proceed with the first session, I would like to remind all students to fill out the attendance form that will be provided later. And if you have any questions, you may ask in the official Telegram group for the new intakes. All right, for the first session, that is the introduction to IIUM official song, Leading the Way. I would like to invite all of you to take the moment and immerse yourself into the song. The song shall start now.
Let's lead the way, lighten the future, share the wisdom to the spirit of Islam. Revelation and reason shall excel, shall prevail. Merging faith and knowledge, we the Khalifa, we will fulfill the amanah. Together we make the world a better place. Forever expand the culture of Iqra. IUM is to realize the meaning of Rahmatan lil Alamin. lighten the future. Share the wisdom to the spirit of Islam. Revelation and reason. We shall excel, we shall prevail. Merging faith and knowledge, we, the Khalifa, we will fulfill the Amanah. Together we make the world a better place. Forever expand the culture of Iqra. IUM is to realize the meaning of Ramadan al-Amin. Together we make the world a better place. Forever expand the culture of Iqra. IUM is to realize the meaning of mercy to all the worlds for mankind.
All right. Now that we have heard this song twice, and I believe some of you might have listened to them by yourself, I would like to invite our first speaker, the President of Students Coordination Committee, Brother Muhammad Hamzah Hakimi bin Muhammad Khair, to share with us on the philosophy behind the song, The Honor is Yours.
Okay. Assalamualaikum. Thank you to the Master of the Ceremony, to the MC of the session, Sister Nailah Nafisah. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to the Program Manager of TAWE, Brother Zainul, to the Program Coordinator of TAWE, Brother Adib, also the Secretary of the SEC. Also good morning and a very, very good day to all the staff committee, to all the students committee, and not forgetting to the beloved and respective students of the new intake for CFS IIUM 21-22. So, my name is Muhammad Hamzah Hakimi bin Muhammad Khair. I am the President of Students' Coordination Committee. I'm also the Program Coordinator of Ta'aruf Week 21-22. And today, I'll be talking about a little bit about the song. Just now, you just sing the song. The song is beautiful. So today, I'm going to, together with you, we'll try to see what's the meaning behind the song. What's the meaning behind the lyrics of the song. And also, I'll be explaining you a bit about the mission behind the establishment of IIUM. So let's jump right into it. I'll first share my screen. Right. So is it visible?
Yes.
All right. Okay, so I will start with the philosophy behind leading the way, and then I'll go with triple I's. I'll explain later what is leading the way and what is triple I. So the first one is leading the way. What is the introduction to leading the way? What is leading the way in the first place? So leading the way is the song of the institution of IIUM, and it was composed by the late Johan Nawawi back in 2007. One of its primary objectives is to strengthen the emotional bond among IIUM community. When we're talking about IIUM community, we're not talking only about the students. We're talking about the staff. We're talking about the administration, management workers. We're talking about the deans. We are talking about the directors. We're talking about everyone in the community of IIUM. So it is the primary objective of the song to strengthen the emotional bond among us. It is rather emotional. The song is rather emotional instead of intellectual because the melody appeals to the heart, not to the intellectual. And what is so special about the song is that the song highlights the ideal of IIUM. It has the IIUM's vision, it has the IIUM's mission, the principle, and also the objective of IIUM. It also aims to foster ukhuwah Islamiyah among Muslim brothers and Muslim sisters. From an aesthetic point of view, yes, the song has its own uniqueness. You can see from the start of the song, you can hear the bird chirping, you can hear the sound of the seruling. It puts the listener to calm. So you don't found it often in songs. So I found it personally, it is rather calming and also unique. So what is khair? So khair is actually the principle that the IIUM want its community to have. The aspect, the ability, the speciality, kelebihan yang IIUM wants their members to have. So what is khair? Khair, the KH in khair stands for Khalifa. So IIUM want its members, the students, the lecturers, the administration workers, and all the members of IIUM to be a Khalifa. In the song, it is stated in the first line, let's lead the way and light the future. Forgive my voice, but yeah. Objective of a Khalifa, which is one of the khair, which is to lead humankind to the right path of God. Like stated in the song, like stated in the song, let's lead the way. So when it comes to leader, when it comes to be a leader in the world nowadays, everyone can be a leader. But when it comes to IIUM, when it comes to University Islam Antarabangsa, they emphasize on the leader of Islam. They want us, the member of IIUM, to be a Muslim leader, the leader that push, the leader that leads humankind to the right path of God. In the case of us Muslim, the right path is only one, which is as-siratul mustaqim. And it is by following the right path that we can enlighten the future and develop optimism. You don't have to be a leader. You don't have to be a president like me. You don't have to be a secretary like Brother Adi. You just have to be a better Muslim and good students of CFSIUM to lead others, maybe your friends, to the right path of God, to the Siratul Mustaqim, to do better things and leave the bad things. So that's the first point of khair, which is Khalifa. The second one, the IIUM wants the students, wants all the members of the IIUM community to be amanah. You know, in the song, it is stated, the three line, merging faith and knowledge, we're the Khalifa, we will fulfill the amanah. So, what is the relation between these three lines? So merging faith and knowledge means that we have to mix, we have to merge our knowledge and our belief, because nowadays some of those who have knowledge believe that everything can be solved with soul, reason, and science. But in Islam, everything has to be aligned with Al-Quran and As-Sunnah. If what you learn contradicts with what Al-Quran has stated, you have to take the Al-Quran, because in the end, Al-Quran is the word of God. And so, as a human being, as a Muslim, we are the Khalifa and we have to spread this. We have to spread the knowledge based on what has been stated in Al-Quran. And it is our amanah. This is what emphasized by this is what emphasized by IIUM. They want the students to be able to hold the amanah as a Muslim, to spread the teachings of Islam, to spread the knowledge based on what's stated in Al-Quran, and also to spread the teachings that a human can be as knowledgeable as they can be, but still they have to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we have to fulfill the role. As a student of CFSIUM, we have a lot of amanah. We have an amanah as a student, or we have an amanah as a if we have a family, we have an amanah as a family member. We have a amanah as a person in a community. We have amanah as a citizen of nation. And as of the 1st of August, you guys already have the amanah as a member of a community of IIUM. So you have to bring it. You have to bring the amanah. You have to bring the role, so that we can balance the peace and harmony to the world and also to all the Muslims in the world. So the next part of khair. So khair is actually 4 principles that IIUM wants its member to follow. The first is Khalifa, the second is amanah, and the third is ikra. As stated in the song, forever expand the culture of Iqra. So the concept of Iqra is so foundational in Islam. It can be seen from the fact that the first revelation being revealed to the Messenger Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is to read based on Surah Al-Alaq. But it doesn't stop only on read, because the ayah goes, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi khalaq. Please read on the name of God. And so this means that IIUM emphasize not only on reading and learning, IIUM emphasize on reading and learning on the name of God. This is the um, what us as a Muslim have to follow, what us as a Muslim has to do. We have to learn, of course, maybe even if you are a student of engineering ke AED, or even if you are a student of Benel, following the right of God, for being obedience to God, expand your culture of learning through what has been stated in Al Quran. It is a responsibility as a Muslim in general. It doesn't matter what course are you taking. It doesn't matter what programs are you in. It doesn't matter what department you are under. Every Muslim needs to follow the culture of Iqra that IIUM has stated. Allah is the one who knows. Human beings are the one without knowledge. And so we have to try to get as much knowledge as we can. So the next one, so the last one of khair is rahmatan lil alamin. So what is rahmatan lil alamin? Rahmah means mercy. Mercy that Allah has given to us. I'm sorry. So rahmah means mercy. Mercy that Allah has given to us. So as a Muslim, we have to admit that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us a lot of mercy, has given us the mercy of Tawheed, has given us the mercy of Aqidah, has given us the mercy of Sharia. So as a Muslim, we have to follow and we have to admit that Allah has given the many, many mercy to humankind. And so as a Muslim, we have to follow them and we have to admit to them, and also we have to try to give mercy to others too, like what has been taught by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is the epitome of what mercy to all mankind should be. He is the one that is so kind in his words. He is caring to his followers, and he leads others like no other leaders has ever been before. And so we have to follow Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and also we have to show our mercy to all the people in the world, not only to the Muslims, but also to the non-Muslims, not only to the non-Muslims, but also to all the living things, be it human or animal, or maybe the flora. Everything should be given mercies by us. And we have to follow the footsteps of Nabi Muhammad SAW. And yes, we have to be rahmatan bil alamin. And so this is khair, the four principles that we as a IIM community should follow. We have to be a khalifah, lead others to the right path of God. We have to be amanah, fulfill the amanah as a student of CFS IIM, and also the other amanah that you have. We have to learn, we have to iqra, we have to read, and also we have to be mercy, we have to give mercy to others, we have to follow the footsteps of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So that is khair. That is what stated in the lyrics of the IIM. So other than that, the lyrics of IIM contains a lot of other things. It has mission, it has vision, it has principles. So you guys can go and check this link, the Murabbi series, or you guys can just search on Google the meaning behind the lyrics of CFS IIM, or the meaning behind the lyrics of IIM, so that you guys can check it out, because actually every lines of the song has its own meaning. But today, unfortunately, I don't have the time to actually explain it one by one. So you guys can go and check this link out. So the next is Triple Eyes. So what is Triple Eyes? Okay, Triple Eyes is actually the simplified version of this mission of IIM. So integration, Islamization, internalization, and comprehensive excellence. So integration, the mission of IIM is actually to produce an intellectual that can integrate three of the quality. So the quality is faith, knowledge, and good character. All members of IUM have to has this three and integrate it in yourself. You have to be faithful, you have to be knowledgeable, and you have to have good characters, because without good characters, the other two is pointless. So the three complement each other, and don't forget to follow all these three. So the next one is Islamization. So Islamization means that IUM wants all its members to follow the path of Islam. You can be a student of engineering, you can be a student of medicine, you can be a student of pharmacy, but in the end, IUM want all of its members to learn about Islamic quality. That's why in CFS, you will be taking Understanding Islam 1 and 2. Also, there will be Ustra session. And so IUM aims so that we can all learn about Islam more and be a more relevant Muslim to the Muslim Ummah. The next is internalization, which is, as you guys know, we use English and Arabic. So to actually complement English and Arabic, the IUM has put internalization as its mission. It is to exemplify an international community to dedicate intellectuals, scholars, professionals, officers, and workers who are motivated by the Islamic worldview. And so IUM, the mission of IUM is to try to open your mind, open the members of IUM to the international worldview, so that we can not only spread Islam in Malaysia, but we can also spread the Islamic teaching to all the world. So the last but not least is the comprehensive excellence, which it is to develop an environment which instills commitment for lifelong learning and a deep sense of social responsibility among staff and students. You have to comprehend learning is one thing, comprehensive learning is one thing, but you have to also give commitment to the social responsibility. Okay, so talking about social responsibility, I've seen a lot of comments that is not actually really appealing to the reader. Okay, so I want to tell all of you guys that you guys should be aware of what you are writing in the YouTube comment section, because it might be offensive or it might not be appropriate. So I hope that you guys are aware that most of the session under the tower is a formal occasion. So please be aware of what language are you using, what kind of things are you discussing in the YouTube comments, because in the end, you are not the only one who is commenting, you're not the only one who is reading, and everyone wants to have a peaceful and enjoyable time. You guys can comment, of course, but please do comment with appropriate language on appropriate discussion things. And I hope that all of us can reach peace and harmony, and I hope that all of us can be a better Muslims. Remember, behave, check your language, don't post unnecessary things, and be a better Muslim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I pass it back to Sister Naila.
All right. Thank you, Brother Amza, for that wonderful insights. Now, I would like to invite our second speaker, the Secretary of Students Coordination Committee, Brother Muhammad Adib Shahmi bin M. Bahari, to enlighten us on the introduction to clubs and societies in CFS IIUM. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you, Sister Naila, for that wonderful introduction. First and foremost, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning. I'd like to bid to our program manager and also the assistant director of the Leadership and Training Unit, Brother Zainal Abidin Ibrahim, the president of the Students' Coordination Committee, Brother Amza himself, and also to all members of the Center for Foundation Studies IUM, societies, and also students. All right, so inshallah, for my slot, let me first introduce myself. My name is Muhammad Adib Shahmi bin Bahari. I am the secretary of the Students' Coordination Committee. So inshallah, I will be doing a presentation on the introduction to the clubs and societies. All right. Sister Naila, can you see my screen?
Yes.
All right. So without further ado, let us move inclusively into the discussion on the clubs and societies that is available in the Center for Foundation Studies, IUM. All right. So what will I be discussing today and what's in store for you so that you can take most of the advantage of what we'll be explaining today? So first and foremost, I will be discussing on the Sustainable Development Goals, or the SDGs. For those who are well equipped with the knowledge, especially in terms of United Nations, I'm pretty sure most of you have already heard SDGs before and know that there are implementations over not only in overseas but also in Malaysia. And the emphasis that we're going to be putting today is in the SDGs initiative that has been put in CFS-IUM itself. Secondly, I'll be introducing to you what is the Students' Coordination Committee. I know that there are a lot of students that have been asking, what is actually the SCC? What are its roles? And when I do enter into CFS, what does the SCC play its role into? So that I'll be further explaining later. And also, last but not least, we'll go into the most important part that I know a lot of students have been asking, not only in the Telegram group, but also in YouTube comments beforehand, and especially in the slot with the Deputy Dean of Student Development, also Community Engagement. And with that, inshallah, let's dive into our discussion today, all right? So first and foremost, when we talk about the SDGs or the Sustainable Development Goals, we have to know what are its functions, what are its roles, and what impact does it actually cause, not only towards ourselves as a person individually, but also to the society, towards our community, towards our institutions. So generally speaking, there are 17 goals initiated by the United Nations itself. These are the goals that are planned to transform our world into a better environment altogether. And as you can see here, those 17 goals are on the screen right now, such as no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, gender equality, and also clean water and sanitation, many more. And these are important matters that we should not only address in terms of in state matters, but also in universities, where we can actually plan out these initiatives that can help not only between staff and administration, but also students who will be staying there, who will be studying there, who will be taking the most of their time there in campus. So what are the projects or initiatives that have been put in CFS-IUM? So this is what we call is the Center for Foundation Studies flagship projects. So at the moment, we have two main initiatives. There are many other more that are on campus right now, that are ongoing, and you can actually browse them through in the CFS roadmap itself. And okay, so let's take a look. What is actually the CFS low carbon footprint campus? And on this matter, oh wait. All right. So the low carbon footprint campus aims to reduce carbon footprint campus. And I think beforehand in our slots before this with the Deputy Dean himself, where students are not allowed to bring in vehicles, and also those vehicles are not encouraged to be brought, especially such as cars and motorcycles. They can't be brought onto campus and students cannot be bringing it to them. So one good thing on it is that it lowers on the carbon footprint basically. And secondly, if you are on campus, and I know that it's very important that everybody hears about this, but the CFS Sejahtera initiative helps on students, especially, let me give an example. When we were on campus, there was this room called the Sejahtera room, where every month a department will take care of it. And in that room, they provide such as food, necessities, face masks. These are the things which some students might not be able to comply with. There are some students who face financial problems, some students who actually are in need of stuff, but they are unable to attend to those needs. So the CFS Sejahtera is also one of these initiatives. I think if we were going to talk about the initiatives by CFS, I am just a mere informer to all of you students, inshallah. But if anything more regarding to CFS, will be likely to ask in to the offices or whatnot. All right. So moving on. All right. So this is the part where we talk about the Students' Coordination Committee. And as far as I know, a lot of students have been asking, is the SCC the highest form of student body? Is the SEC independent itself from other societies? Is the SEC elected on a campus level election system? So let's take a look. The SEC is made of the offices of the High Committee and also the bureaus itself. And the SEC indeed is the highest committee level in Center for Foundation Studies, IUM. It is under the Leadership and Training Unit, which is the LTU. And as all of you know, coordination movement is not simply the same as the IUM Student Union as far that we can discuss over. The Students' Coordination Committee itself works as an embodiment to deliver and bridging administration student gaps. And this is in terms of circumnavigating information, deliberating and managing committees, societies, and these are very important because when we talk about communication, especially in this new norm, when we talk about lack of understanding, lack of information reaching out to students, the SEC plans out and builds that role, helping to bridge these gaps that probably some students cannot see, some administration members cannot see. And it is important that the SEC plans and works its function in making sure that whatever that is brought forward to the students can actually be maximized to them. And for those who are asking, what is the SEC made of? Is it made of students elected on the campus level? So basically the SEC is it is in a form of a way we say as part of their own constituencies, meaning that the members of the SEC itself, the SEC is made of students who have already been elected into their respective constituencies, whether they are from the academic-based societies, ABS, from the non-ABS, from the martial arts, or even support groups. So as we heard from the presentation from our beloved Brother Amza just now, Brother Amza is also the Vice President for the Language Student Society, or also known as LANS. And Sister Shafika, I think most of you have already seen her during our slots beforehand. And Sister Shafika is also the Vice President of the Orator Society. And this is the office of the President that makes up the High Committee of the Students' Coordination Committee. So moving on is the Office of Secretary. And this is me, Brother Adib. I am also the president of the Environment and Nature Club, the ENC, and also the financial controller of the Mala Al-Zahrawi Representative Committee, or the MRC itself. And in the office of the secretary, I do all the managing on the documentation, handling internal and external matters of the SEC itself. And these are in regards to the programs and activities discussed between not only the SEC, but also other societies in CFS IUM. Okay, so moving on, there is the Office of Treasurer, or our own MC for today, Sister Naila. So Sister Naila is also the Vice President of the Red Crescent Club and also the Assistant Leadership and Education Bureau in the Law Students Society, or MILEX as it all kind of. And Sister Nai, I believe she has always helped us a lot in terms of understanding financial matters. For example, your BKAs, financial matters such as IM welfare funds and also zakat, and anything addressed to the matter of finance is under the Office of Treasurer. And Sister Naila has always helped us during our foundation year in making sure that any inquiries, any discussions, or any important matters to be addressed is within hands by our Sister Naila. All right, so moving on to the bureaus. In SEC, we have a few bureaus notably, and first of all, we're starting with the Office of the Education. And under the Office of Education, we have our two. First of all, Brother Raja, which is also the Secretary of PERKIM, the Persatuan Kebajikan Islam Malaysia, and also Sister Raida, the Vice President of INTEX, or Information and Community Technology Student Society. And the Office of Education has always helped in dealing with matters with the Office of Deputy Dean, Academic, and during our time was the and Industrial Linkages, but now it's turned into ODI, which is Office of the Deputy Dean of Academics and Internalization. So the Office of Education helps in these matters. So for example, if you have any questions, should I change courses, or how do I receive my COPs, my change of programs, or anything regarding your academics, the Office of Education is there to serve. And during our time, during semester 2, we held a few surveys, and these surveys are aimed at discussing and finding out the data of students learning online during our online semester. And the Office of Education has always assisted both students and the administration in making sure that academic matters are being taken into account. And these are planned out, which I will discuss in our after this. All right. So moving on to the second bureau, which is the Office of Community Service. So in here we have our brother Khairul Amirin, which is also the president of PERKIM, and also sister Khairul Natasha, the assistant for the Bureau of Funds and Economy under PERKIM as well. So the Office of Community Service, as the name goes, helps in these matters. And during our semester 2 and semester 3, brother Khairul is one of those people who have been discussing a lot with the administration in establishing what we call as the CFS COVID-19 Students Task Force. And the task force itself is made out of students insisting the CFS task force itself, and the Office of Community Service goes on to making sure whatever in terms of welfare, in terms of accommodation, and also quarantine matters during that time with the students' COVID-19 task force helps to attend to these needs as well. All right, so moving on to the Office of Sports and Recreation. First, we have brother Ishraf Norizan, the Vice President of Econs, and also our sister Hawa, which is also the Vice Treasurer for the SSGMC, or Silat Seni Gayung Malaysia Club, and also the Bureau of Sports and Recreation for Focus. And under this Office of Sports and Recreation, we have not only planned programs under it, like one of the programs that should have been organized was the Sports and Martial Arts Carnival, but unfortunately, due to constraints because of COVID-19, we are unable to organize it. But at the same time, the Office of Sports and Recreation helps to deal with the sports unit. And under the sports unit itself, we discuss on matters such as the usability of the campus facilities, such as the track, the stadium, the courts, and the Office of Sports and Recreation is responsible on that matter as well. So moving on to the Office of Dawah and Discipline, it is with our brother Ibadur Rahman, the Vice President of the Engineering Student Society, or Engineers, and also with Sister Najwa, our President for the Languages and Management Student Society, which is Amethyst. And both brother Ibadur Rahman and Sister Najwa have also worked very hard. And one of our notable programs under the Office of Dawah and Discipline is the Ramadan Series program, which is a program that combines a multitude of societies in organizing what we call as a Ramadan festival. And under this initiative, we managed to put forth initiatives and programs, interesting programs, even though it was during our online semester, to bring out our Ramadan spirit. So next, we have the Office of PubPro, or Office of Publication and Promotion. So it is headed by our brother Hazim, which is also the president of the CMC, or Creative Multimedia Club, and also by brother Daniel, the vice president of the same club as well, the Creative Multimedia Club. And as you, I'm pretty sure that most of the students here, you've already gone through to the SEC Instagram. And if you haven't, please do so at SEC CFSIUM, and please do drop a follow on it. And if you see there, most of the posters and most of our presentations there have been created and made by two of our brothers here. And the Office of the Publication and Promotion makes sure that not only matters, for example, posters and also designs are put at hand, but also making sure that whatever information that is to be addressed to the other students are put into good form so that students can actually view it. And if you see those interesting posters and designs, it's thanks to our both brothers in making sure that the information needed to be addressed is also put into good hands. So for the Office of Welfare, there is our Sister Nya, and Sister Nya is also the treasurer for the Engineering Student Society. And under the Office of Welfare, Sister Nya works very hard with the Residential Discipline and Welfare Unit, or the RDW. And I'm pretty sure most of you are asking, how does the Welfare Unit work? So basically, when our Office of Welfare deals with the RDW, we engage in matters such as in mahala, in, for example, students' welfare as well. And in the Office of Welfare, even though Sister Nya currently now is alone, she works very hard in making sure that whatever needs that needs to be accompanied by is made sure to be followed. And under the Office of Welfare is very important. And I know a lot of people are questioning how does that work. And usually we engage and liaise with the RDW and also the MRCs, the Mala representative committees, in making sure that your accommodation, your transportation, and whatever needs you need at your Hisbah and your Mahalla are attended by too. All right, so moving on to the Office of Entrepreneurship, but with our brother Hakim, which is also the Vice President for the Adventure Recreational Club, or ARC. And brother Hakim here is also the Program Manager for our CFS Festival. And CFS Festival is also one of the biggest programs that we have organized as a center program by the SEC. I believe Sister Shafika has also presented this during our slot, I believe slot Know Your Campus. And the CFS Festival doesn't only promote selling stuff, selling products. Also under the Office of Entrepreneurship, we help to promote students' capabilities and abilities in making sure that whatever they do not only include on a narrow-minded scope. That's why during our CFS Festival, we had talks, we had other initiatives and promoting entrepreneurship. And CFS Festival is not only limited to that. That's why during our CFS Festival, it was the theme of Towards Al-Falah, which is towards success. And that program was, alhamdulillah, a very indeed successful program. And if for those who are asking, oh, what are the examples of programs, you can also head down to our SEC YouTube section to also go through some of the videos and also some of the live sessions that we streamed during that time. All right, so for the Office of Sponsorship, last but not least, the last bureau of the SEC is the Office of Sponsorship by our brother Farish Putra. And brother Farish Putra is also the president of Chitra, or the Culture and Arts Club. And under the Office of Sponsorship, brother Farish Putra helps in dealing with also financial matters, in making sure that our programs are well funded. And even though we do request our budgets with the administration, we also make sure to tally up with importances. And brother Farish Putra is also there in making sure that these matters are attended to by. And also under Chitra, brother Farish Putra also ensures that it is very complementary to each other in terms of the programs and also the activities that have been organized under the center programs itself. All right, so that's all for the positions or the organization in the SEC itself. So I believe that a lot of you are asking, how is the Students' Coordination Committee chosen? If you have already been elected to a constituency, then how are you elected? Are you still elected, or are you just simply applying through a form? So basically, during our tenure, after we finished our AGMs or annual general meetings, we had a form to fill in. And during that time to fill in the form, we have to submit it to the Leadership and Training Unit under the Office of the Deputy Dean Student Development Committee Engagement. And during that form, we were shortlisted into a couple of names. And those names that have been shortlisted comes from a very large background. For example, there are presidents in there, there are vice presidents, there are secretaries, there are treasurers, and the students that come up with these forms that have been also shortlisted are very notable leaders we have in CFF right now. And after the shortlisting of the students, for example, 30 students, we say, these students are interviewed by the dean, by the dean himself, Tuan Haji Mursyid, and both deputy deans of ODAL and also SDC, and also with Assistant Director of LTU, Brother Zainal Abidin. And during the interview session, the potential SEC candidates were asked some questions on making sure how do we mitigate or also engage with student coordination matters. And during that time, students who have been chosen during the interview session were put into office allocated. And after we have been chosen, a number of, for our tenure was 18, but one of our brothers, Brother Shoaib, who was also previously our secretary, went to University of Jordan. So after we finished our session there with the interview and also been chosen, we underwent a shura. And during that shura, we elected the president, Brother Amza, right now, and also the other officers and also high committees of the SEC itself. So that's basically generally what and how happens when you become a student coordination. So when we talk about the Student Coordination Committee, there is also a need to take a look at how do you actually coordinate these matters. So in making sure a strong and established student administration relation, the SCC has always put priority first in organizing several initiatives at hand. As you can see on the screen, there are a lot of initiatives that we have put forth, such as one that I've been saying just now, which is the survey report on RTL conduct, or RTL stands for remote teaching and learning. And the RTL conduct itself is important in matters on analyzing the data of students, whether they can actually cope with the online learning at their own homes, whatnot. And as you can see, we also put a lot of draft plannings in making sure that our meetings are aligned with. And as you can see there, the draft planning for semester 3, 2020, 2021, we organized meetings despite it was a semester vacation. And during that break of 3 weeks, we have a 3-week gap between semesters. And during that week, we were filled with meetings, of discussions, with planning out events. And during that time, we planned out what we call as the almanac and also the catalog. And for the upcoming tenure of, inshallah, potential leaders and candidates, there will also be an almanac and a catalog for you to organize and allocate the programs and events that each society wishes to be planned out. And that is, inshallah, during Madly, if there is during your batch of tenure. So other than that, we also have the campus board secretariat, some programs and events. As you can see, there is our mini booklet for the programs and events organized for semester 3, the President's Caucus, and also the CFS COVID-19 Students Task Force. So these are the coordination initiatives I have said beforehand, and we have always been focusing on in making sure that our stay in foundation level, whether we are on campus or whether we are our own respective homes, that it is all well planned, is taken care of. And that's why some of these initiatives, such as the President's Caucus and the Campus Board Secretary, aims in actually working with other presidents. And for your information, the President's Caucus is a joint council of the SCC and also the other presidents, such as the ABS, the non-ABS, sports and martial arts support groups, and also the MRCs. And the discussion spans out more than just programs and activities, but also catering towards welfare matters, catering towards initiatives in making sure that our upcoming semester is taken care of. And Alhamdulillah, our last President's Caucus was around 2 days ago that we discussed on matters for the annual general meeting, inshallah, for your tenure. And the campus board secretariat is a discussion between all members of all secretaries of all clubs and societies, while the other initiatives such as the SCC MRC board meeting is a discussion between us and discussing welfare matters, and also the CFS COVID-19 Students Task Force in dealing with COVID-19 matters on campus, such as during semester 3, where science students were allowed to go back during that time. And during that time, the Students Task Force helped a lot with the administration in making sure that the quarantine matters were taken at hand, even though there were a few mishaps and also problems. The Students Task Force, inshallah, and alhamdulillah, took care of that and made sure that it was catered in time. And also another big initiative by the Office of Entrepreneurship is the CFS OS, or also the CFS online shop, where you know that in promoting entrepreneurship matters in a pandemic is very hard, especially when trying to find people to buy your stuff. And that's why we created a channel where students can promote their stuff and people can actually buy that. In a sense, the CFSOS has also helped students who have started or just started learning how to promote or their own products. And it's very important that we also take this into account, even though not everybody does sell stuff, but also a lot of people are interested in these kinds of things. And last but not least, we do, as generally what society does, making announcements towards the all students of CFS, doing minute meetings based on our meetings of the MRC, the joint councils, the other students as well. And also we conduct report surveys, and also we conduct external engagements. And some of the notable external engagements are, first and foremost, with the IAM Student Union themselves. We had a meeting and discussing student-related matters. And secondly, we also participated as observers in the IUM Student Parliament during semester 2. All right. So that's all talking about the Students' Coordination Committee. If you have any more inquiries or you're interested in knowing what is actually the Students' Coordination Committee, feel free to just be at me or your brother Amza or other SCC members. All right, so now we're going on to the heaviest and most important part of the discussion today, which is the clubs and societies. So make sure that you know which club are you in now, which club are you interested to participate in, and what are the niches of your clubs. so that when you actually be registered as a member, or when you actually want to participate, for example, being a high committee of the respective society, you know which direction are you heading to, and those clubs and societies, what are their aspiration and goals that they are targeting to go to. So as you can see here, there are a total of 39 societies, or 11 ABSs, which is academic-based societies, 5 Mahala representative committees based on the Mahala, the 15 socio-academic clubs or non-ABS clubs, 6 sports and martial arts clubs, and 2 support groups. So this is the amount of societies that were during our tenure. So if the upcoming tenure during your time is there are any changes, it is made for by the under the LTO or also the other administrations. All right, so first and foremost, the academic-based societies. I'm pretty sure almost everyone knows what is an ABS, and you've also been participating in your own respective Telegram groups, such as METC, Econs, Press, and these Telegram groups or even WhatsApp groups have played a role in actually catering to your questions, even if some of your questions aren't answered or you are not brave enough to ask in the Telegram group. You also ask your seniors in your academic-based societies. So what we say is that your ABS is your go-to family in CFS. These are your family that you have been put into, whether you like it or not. So if you register into CFS as a medical student, you will be going to METC. If you are a physical science student, you'll be going to Press. And you cannot simply just change. That's the general rule of it. So even though you're not a part of the other academic-based societies, it's also important for you to also know what are the other academic-based societies, and also probably you can also know the courses in it. So let's take a look. First and foremost is the Languages and Management Student Society. All right, so a general information here. That is the logo of the society. Under that is the abbreviation for the society, and under that is the date for the annual general meeting. So before I move on to discussing the clubs and societies, I'll just like to remind all students that after your Ta'aruf week, there will be organized your respective annual general meetings. So I know that a lot of societies have been promoting in finding their future candidates for high committees and also bureaus. So note that those societies and also their respective dates that have been shown on screen here, these are the ones that will be, inshallah, conducted. And inshallah, later on, before the real AGM has been conducted, we will also release under the office of the LTU the full schedule for you to actually take a look into. So the Languages and Management Student Society is made up of a few other societies as well. It's not only one society, one course. So under Amethyst, there is ANCOM, MACOM, ARCOM, and also TPHM students. So Amethyst takes care and manages these students under this society. And as you can see, there are 3 points which are the emphasizations of Amethyst. First, which is language and management. Secondly, communication relations. And thirdly, tourism and hospitality. All right, so moving on, the Society of Econs, or known as the Economic Student Society. And this society is for only economic students. And their 3 emphasizations works into studying in economics, secondly Timur, and last but not least, Ummah. All right, so moving on to Engineers, and probably one of the biggest societies in ABS, which is the Engineering Student Society. And Engineers is a big society since we have a lot of engineering students, and note that Engineers is very active in terms of conducting their interactive programs such as physics clinics for students taking physics, whether it's Physics 1, Physics 2, or Physics 3, and also some other notable activities that are conducted there. All right. So moving on is the Focus Society, or Foundation in Human Sciences Student Society. And it is only for human sciences students only. And as you can see here, the program involves an appreciation of the Western Islamic heritage behind the current media, forms, and institutions. And the Focus Society focuses on 3 things, which is empathy, bond, and also efforts. Okay, so moving on to INTEX, which is the Information and Communication Technology Student Society. And for those students who have just registered or registered beforehand, ICT students are only you can only become an ICT student after your change of program from, for example, engineering to ICT. And under the ICT are the students themselves that govern and the welfare and rights of the ICT students. And yeah, as you can see there are three emphasizations goes on to the technological advancements, computer-related knowledge, and also empowering the voices of ICT students as a whole. Okay, so moving on to ISRA, which is the Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Heritage Student Society. ISRA Society is a society that is controlled and led by the IRKH department. So for those who do not know what is IRKH, that stands for Islamic Revealed Knowledge and Heritage Department. And for that, they also provide best services on their own several bureaus, including somewhat there mentioned. And also, as you can see there, their emphasization goes on to Sharia-based Azamkari society, empowering Islam education and lifestyle, and also providing best services for IRK students. Okay, so moving on to IDEA, the Architecture and Environmental Design Student Society. So for those who are asking how do you pronounce this, it goes on as IDEA. So it's not IDEA, it's not IDEA, it's IDEA. So in that matter, these are students coming from the AED courses, and those students under AED, I believe AEDians focuses on a lot, especially in skills, creativity, and also aesthetic matters. Okay, so moving on to the LAN Society, or the Language Students Society. LAN Society is not the same as Amethyst, since LAN Society is made up of two courses, which is first of foremost is BEN, and also secondly BAR students. And under the Language Student Society, they built this bridge by making sure to improve relations between those two. They also work in making sure that their members can benefit from their programs, and also last but not least, they focus on the vision and mission of CFS-IUM in conducting their programs. All right. So moving on to the Medical Sciences Student Society, or MEDSI. MEDSI is also a big society, rivaling with Engineers usually, since a lot of these students under MEDSI also comes from a lot of other societies, such as medical students, nursing students, allied health science students, dentistry students, and also pharmacy students. So there's 5 societies under MEDSI, if I'm not mistaken. And under MEDSI is a very big society that conjoins all of these other courses. And of course, all of these students will be going to, inshallah, Kuantan. All right. So moving on to MILEX, under their motto, I believe, Pro Milex Veritas Justita Advertus. So under the Law Students Society, these are all those legal law students under their courses, and for their emphasizations, they go on with integrity, leadership, and togetherness. And I think an interesting quote here that they added here is that the life of the law has not been logic, it has been experience, by Oliver Wendell Holmes. All right, so moving on is the last academic-based society, which is PRESS, the Pre-Sciences Student Society. And PRESS is an academic-based society which combines both bioscience and also physical science students and operates under the math department. And for those who might be asking, oh, if I were a physical science student, am I going to the Engineer Society or PRESS Society? So this is where you go. And for those under the biological sciences, bioscience, you're also under PRESS. And for the emphasization on the PRESS is first, students, they focus on students' academic improvement and welfare. Secondly, on students' information regarding courses and degree preparations. And last but not least, in making sure to strengthen their bonds between society members. All right, so we move on to the second part, which is the MRCs, or known as the Mahalah Representative Committees. And for those who are still wondering what are Mahalahs, those are your residential places which you will be staying with. And inside Mahalah Representative Committees, there are also floors which we call as Hisbah. And in general, the whole building we call as a Mahalah. each floor we have also Hisbah representative committees, which are called as HRCs. And for those Hisbah, they also have their own respective organizational structure. So in each Hisbah, you also have your own respective president, and on the bigger scale, you have the president of the MRC themselves. All right. So during our time, there were only 5 mahalas open, but in CFS we also have 6, a total of 6. But during our time, there were only 5 MRCs open at that time. All right. So first and foremost is the Mahala Al-Biruni. And those who are wondering how many mahalas are there allocated during our time, there were 2 mahalas for brothers and another 3 for the sisters. So first and foremost is the Mahala Al-Biruni, and under Mahala Al-Biruni, there are also, okay, just generally speaking, there are many things that we as the Mahala representative committees have to prepare on, and representing not only the students' voice, but also the voice of the Mahala themselves. And under Mahala Al-Biruni, it is also the same as the other Mahalas as well, but in their emphasis, they put up on the voice of the Mahala. Secondly, organizing welfare, tarbiyah, discipline, culture, and sports programs, which are their respective bureaus. And last but not least, are maintaining welfare of the students of the Mahala and the Mahala. All right. So moving on to Mahala Al-Zahrawi. The Mahala Al-Zahrawi representative committee always strives to enhance better communication skills as well as holding responsibility to manage our community, which is respective Mahala. And under the Mahala Al-Zahrawi, there are 3 emphasis points, which is first and foremost, the students' welfare at respective Mahala. Secondly, in organizing fun and exciting events and competition. And last but not least, in ensuring good leadership and cooperative skills. All right, so that's all for the brothers Mahala. So moving on to the sisters Mahala, we have 3, starting off with Mahala Azdah. And as you can see here, Mahala Azdah has also listed some of the notable programs such as the Azdah Digital Merdeka Fest, the Global Month of 2021, and also Azdah Got Skills. And a lot of these programs are organized not only under the MRC themselves, but also in collaboration with their respective HRCs and also their bureaus. And under the Mahala of Azdah, there are 3 emphasis points goes on with keeping the Mahala facilities in good condition. Secondly, helping students with their problems in their own rooms. And thirdly, in organizing the events to keep students being active with programs other than those being organized from other societies as well. All right, so moving on to the second sisters Mahala, which is the Mahala Fatimah Al-Majritiyah. Mahala Fatimah is also similarly the same. All the Mahalas are the same except Mahala Al-Biruni, since Mahala Al-Biruni is one of the old buildings in CFS IUM. So in Mahala Fatimah Al-Majritiyah, or simply called as Mahala Fatimah, there are 3 emphasis puts on discipline, proactiveness, and also dedication. And last but not least, for the Mahala of sisters and also for the overall of Mahala, we have Mahala Umamah. And Mahala Umamah is also the same as the other sisters Mahala. There are 3 emphasis points goes on to first building links between the Mahala residents, fellows, and principal. Secondly, planning organizing activities at the Mahala, and also thirdly, ensuring the safety and welfare of the Mahala residents and their welfare and their affairs. So when we talk about the MRCs themselves have a very big responsibility, since they are not only catering to matters with among students, but also making sure that the facilities such as the pantries, the toilets, the hisbah, the rooms are taken care of. And under the MRCs, they are under their respective fellows and also the principal of their respective Mahala. And the MRCs themselves are very important since they cater to these matters in physical forms that some societies can't even cater. And that's important that when, inshallah, if the new students, you can actually go to campus during semester 2 or another time allocated, you can actually also volunteer yourself to be an MRC. And the MRC during our tenure is an elected system. For the MRC, you are basically interviewed and also shortlisted by the principals and the fellows of your mahalla, and that is how you are allocated into becoming an MRC themselves. So if you are ever interested in making sure to build up welfare matters, to fight for students' rights and at the mahalla level, you can always just go in be part of the MRC family. All right. So moving on is the socio-academic clubs, or also the non-ABS clubs. And in here, we have a lot of clubs. We have a total of 15 clubs in CFSIUM. And for all of these clubs, they have their own respective niches. So what is actually their own respective niche? Their niches are based on their specialities, such that a society is allocated to focus on a specific matter or a specific area or a theme. And that's why their own respective niches goes on based on their own objectives and goals. All right. So for those students who are very interested in participating or registering as part of the society, please make sure you take note of the dates on the screen here, such as the one under the name or the abbreviation of the society, so that you are aware of whenever the AGM will be organized or held. So first and foremost, you have the Adventure and Recreational Club, which will be organized on the 19th of August 2021. And for the ARC Club, even though when we talk about Adventure and Recreational Club on the matters of the pandemic right now, it might be seem limited to. But inshallah, during semester 2, whenever you come back to campus, ARC will be conducting, inshallah, a lot of programs and activities to cater to your extreme interests, for example, going hiking or going outside of campus. And ARC is a very nice society for you to actually engage with other adventure activities that other societies might not be able to offer you. And secondly, we go to PKPIM, or stands for the Persatuan Kebangsaan Pelajar Islam Malaysia, PKPIM. Also will also be organized on the 19th of August. So PKPIM emphasizes the culture of knowledge as a compulsory movement that must be practiced by members of the association, as well as empowering students based on intellectual tradition and Islamic principle. So for those, even though you haven't been going through a CFSIUM club society, I'm pretty sure some of you have already heard of PKPIM, especially since PKPIM has their own national level societies. And if you think that you want to participate in this Hidup Biar Berjasa society, you can always just register as part of one. And thirdly, for the Society of Harmony, it will also be organized on the 19th of August. Harmony, under their objectives, they go on first to empower academics and enrich intellectualism. Secondly, in protecting welfare of the campus community, and also lastly, to enhance da'wah activities at the same time to improve each individual and grow activism among brothers and sisters in CFSIUM. Okay, so moving on is the King Chess Club. The King Chess Club is one of our newest clubs in CFSIUM, and inshallah, the AGM will be held on the 23rd of August 2021. And for those who have always been active in chess beforehand in high school, or if you want to try out playing chess or participating in a tournament for the first time, you can always just participate as a member of the chess club. So secondly is the RCC, or the Red Crescent Club. It's part of the Malaysian Red Crescent family, whose mission is to alleviate human suffering and to promote lasting peace amongst people. And if you are from a background that enriches in being part, for example, in a Red Crescent society, you're also allowed and also encouraged to participate in Red Crescent clubs, since RCC is also an interesting club for you to participate in if you haven't had the opportunity to actually participate in during high school. All right. So another society, I think, under quite a big society is the Orators Society. And Orators itself stands under I1, which is itself independent and also different from other societies. And under Orators, it is not only limited to one society, to one language, but also three, which is first and foremost the Malay language, secondly the English language, and also thirdly the Arabic language. So if you ever think that you want to enhance your skills in debating or articulating your words or making sure that you can improve on your public speaking skills, you're always encouraged to participate in orators. Even though you're not a debater, even though you have never debated before, you can always try to become a part of the orators family. So moving on, we have the ENTRAC Club or the Entrepreneurship Club. And the Entrepreneurship Club itself is somewhat very different from the economic society, where even though you're not an economic student, you can always be a part of the ENTRAC Club. Also, the EJAM will also be held on the 20th of August. And if you really think that you want to be part of this interesting journey and increasing your knowledge and entrepreneurship, you can always join and participate in ENTRAC. All right, so moving on to CMC, or as they call it, the Creative Multimedia Club. The club itself will be organizing its AGM on the 26th of August. And for those who are asking, what is actually creative multimedia? So if you think you have an aspiration or you have a desire in editing skills, in enhancing, for example, designing or making your own multimedia products or artwork, you can always be part of the CMC. And the CMC itself is different from other clubs, which their aims and their also emphasis goes on in not only going through designing, photography, videography, and digital art, also they have their own respective bureaus of gaming and workshop. But this is during our tenure. So inshallah, during the upcoming tenure, the new bureaus are also different allocations of focuses might also be changing as well. So moving on is the Global Community Club, also the GCC. The AGM will also be held on the 26th of August. GCC is a volunteerism-based society with the vision, be the voice for unity to form a noble character for mutual prosperity. And if you ever think that you want to be a volunteering member of society, if you want to do a lot of volunteering work, Global Community Club is the club for you. And if you think you want to expand your fields in developing soft skills of other people or communicating with people, especially when working on field with people, especially in volunteerism, you can always join and participate as a member of the GCC. Right, so moving on is PERCIM. PERCIM stands for the Pertubuhan Kebajikan Islam Malaysia, and we also have our president of the PERCIM as a member of the SCC itself. And PERCIM focuses on matters of welfare, and that's why it is always focusing on matters in helping welfare of not only currently Muslim brothers, but also new Muslim brothers. So if you think you want to help out people, for example, in certain communities that focuses on helping their own welfare, PERCIM also emphasizes on those matters. So moving on to Pembina, or the Persatuan Belia Islam National Society. It is a society that is a prominent Islamic youth organization in Malaysia, and its aspiration in CFS focuses on 5 aspects. First of all, tarbiyah. Secondly, leadership. Third, volunteerism. Fourth, sports and recreation. And last but not least, media. And moving on to ENC, or the Environment and Nature Club. Me, myself, being the president of the Environment and Nature Club, the NC fights for a cause in terms of moving towards the SDGs aspiration, in making sure that we can promote and we can also uphold the SDGs, in making sure that we can provide a good and healthy environment, not only for us to sustain it, but also inshallah for the other inhabitants on earth. And that's why as well as appreciating Allah's blessings, ENC focuses on making sure that the environment is taken good care of, and those initiatives should be taken into account. And the ENC focuses a lot in making sure that not only the environment is taken care of, but also our surroundings around us on campus or also off campus. So moving on to, I believe, the 3 last societies for the social academic clubs. First of all, we have IQRA. And IQRA itself is a very different club from other clubs, since IQRA is only for DQ students. So if you don't know what DQ is or what is actually program DQ, inshallah for the next slot, which is Tazkira, our president from IQRA himself Brother Ajwat will also be presenting on this matter. And so for those students who have graduated from IQRA are now entering into CFS, inshallah, your AGM will be on the 27th of August. And all right, so moving on to the RSC, or stands for the Rover Scouts Club. And for those who are very active in high school as a scout, or as we call it, pengakap, you can always be a member of the RSC. And if you think that you are interested in becoming a scout, even though you've never been before, you can always participate and join the Rover Scouts Club in CFS IUM. All right, so moving on to Chitra, which is also the president is part of our SEC. It is the one and only club in CFS IUM that promotes culture of any tradition along their arts and way of entertainment like theater and music performance. So if you think that you have a like to become a theatrist, or you want to become a singer, or you want to explore and implore more on improving your inner skills, especially in terms of culture, in terms of arts, and express yourself in many means, you can always join Chitra, especially if you think that you have the skills, the abilities, and also you have the passion to do so. All right, so moving on to the sports and martial arts clubs. There are 6 clubs aspirationally in CFS IUM, and so let's go with it. All right, so first and foremost, we have the Karate Do Society, which is also the long name. This is Shitoryu Karate Do Club, which aims in building healthy mental and body, release stress, making new friends, and also having a bigger chance for you to participate in the competitions provided. So inshallah, the AGM will be held on the 20th of August. So moving on to the Taekwondo Society or Taekwondo Club. For those students who have previously also been active in karate or also taekwondo, this is a good platform for you to also enhance your skills and tertiary level education society, and for you to implore and explore more of these abilities of yours. I think it's best for you to also participate and be part of these societies. So moving on, we have also Aikido. So for those who are wondering, what is actually Aikido? Aikido is not I don't think Aikido is a very popular name, especially in high school. But in Aikido, we also have our own experienced instructor in offering this advanced tactics or self-defense strategies for you. And for you who are interested in being a part of the Aikido club, you can always just participate, inshallah, and the AGM on the 20th of August. So moving on to our Silat societies that we have here in CFS. First of all is the SSC UHC, which is the Seni Silat Cekak Ustaz Hanafi Club. And the SSC UHC is a very different martial arts platform where it is unique in its own way and is very well known in Malaysia. And I believe some students who have been a Silat Cekak member beforehand in high school, this is also a platform for you to explore more of your skills here. So moving on to the 2 last sports and martial arts clubs that we have here in CFS IUM, which is the Seni Silat Gayung Malaysia Club, which is also, I think some schools also have this. And for those who are interested in participating or being a member of a self-defense martial arts society, can always join the Seni Silat Gayung Club. And also last but not least is the Persatuan Seni Silat Cekak Malaysia, or SSCMC, is one of the Malay self-defense arts that is available in CFS IUM, and it has many benefits you can see here, such as it is free from superstition, so you don't have to be afraid of any possible superstitious acts or rituals during the SSCMC's training. And it is an authentic Malay martial art, and also even if that you're new and you have never been in any Seni Silat organizations before, you can always try out SSC UHC, SSGMC, and also SSCMC. All right, so last but not least, we move on to the last part of the clubs and societies here in CFS IUM, which are the support groups. And under the support groups, we have 2, which is first and foremost the peers, and secondly the iMasjid. So basically, what are support groups? Support groups are societies or clubs that is under a specific department that helps in aiding and engaging with the students. So as you can see here, CFS Peers is known as a support group to the Counseling and Career Services Unit, or CCSU. And I believe almost all students have already participated in the CCSU slot beforehand. And for those who are interested in being a part of the peers family, or if you're interested in, I think similarly in high school we call as PRS or Pembimbing Rapkan Sebaya, you can always be part of the peers family and also help not only yourselves and explore your own needs and also your own potentialities, but also help other people. Since being a peer not only helps to help yourself, also help your other friends or other colleagues or all your possibly inshallah your friends and family as well. So moving on to the last society we'll be discussing today, which is the Imaratul Masjid, or short for iMasjid. And iMasjid is a support group under the Masjid CFS department. So for those inshallah who will be going to campus, if being allowed, you can always just be part of the iMasjid, even though that you haven't been there. And I will say that the masjid in CFS is one of the beautiful masjid that, and also a very comfortable masjid for it to actually be in. And it is such a shame if we cannot actually maximize our time there at the masjid in CFS IUM. And inshallah, if you be a part of the iMasjid Society's committee, you will help in the making sure of all those matters regarding to the masjid is liaised with the Masjid CFS personnel. And those include in conducting programs, in managing the masjid welfare units such as Salat Jumat preparations, and also making sure the engagements in the masjid are taken well for. So inshallah, that's all from me. I think that's a very lengthy discussion just now, and I think a lot of things that should be put hand to. And for those who didn't have time to read through the slides or read through the information that has been provided, and you can always just rewatch this live session. And if you want to go through back to the dates and also the important matters that have been addressed in the presentation just now, well, feel free to just watch it all over again. And I would like to also remind all students that inshallah, under the SEC and also under the administration, we'll be creating a CFS Clubs and Societies Telegram channel, which we will be posting all the inshallah nearest AGM for all the clubs and societies. And if you're ever interested in participating in one of those, you can always just join them and inshallah participate in their AGMs during the allocated date. And also just a notification here, for those who are interested in becoming a high committee member or a bureau committee member of any respective societies, under standardization motion by the students during mock parliament during our tenure, and also being approved by the administration, a student is only eligible to hold one office at a time. So that means if you are ever holding a position, any position in any society, you can only stay there and take that society for your own. That means that you cannot simply have two positions. So if you are, for example, a president of a society, you're only eligible to hold that one office. Or for example, if you're a vice bureau of a respective society, you can only hold that one office for yourself. So be mindful when applying for your societies, inshallah, during their AGMs. And if you think that's the best society that you want to fight for, or the society that you wish to hold office for, inshallah, do your very best. And from the SEC, from the Students' Coordination Committee, we wish you the very best in your studies, and also making sure you can participate the most and taking the most out of your time during your stay here in your foundation studies. And if you have any concerns, if you have any matters, please don't hesitate to contact me, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions or from other SEC members. And if you think that it's very hard for you to join a society or a club, you can always just ask their seniors, their high committees, and going through, is this the kind of society that you want to be participating into? So inshallah, if there are any other things that are at hand, I believe you can always just address inshallah in the Telegram group channel. And all the best for those fighting for your respective positions. And I hope that you enjoy your stay here in CFS IUM. That's all from me. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I pass the floor back to Sister Naila.
All right, thank you, Brother Adib, for the informative sharing. I really hope that all students will benefit from the information provided, inshallah. Also, since we are not having a Q&A session today, you may ask questions in the Telegram group or personally message any of the SCC members, including myself, Sister Naila, Brother Adib, and Brother Amza. Moving on to our very last agenda, I would like to invite everyone to test your knowledge and understanding on the topics that have been shared. So the link to the quiz will be given through the comment section in no time. You may start whenever you want and at your own pace. All right, I believe that's all for the quiz session. Please be reminded that this is not a competition, neither a race for an Olympic medal. You may answer again whenever you want or desire. Alhamdulillah, believe it or not, we are already at the end of our session. Hence, I would like to thank again Brother Amza and Brother Adib and all students involved for being present throughout the session. We will adjourn the meeting with Tasbih Kifarah and Surah Al-As. See you again in another session under the Ta'aruf Week, inshallah.